Dear students, good morning. Today we are going to discuss about alkyl isocyanates. Simply we call them as carbylamines. So preparation and properties of alkyl isocyanates are going to be discussed today. So last class we completed cyanides, alkyl cyanates completed. Today carbylamines, nothing but alkyl isocyanates. Then for every organic compound we follow two type of names, a common name as well as UPOC name. First we take a common name for the alkyl isocyanates, right? So the common name as usual will be given based on the substituent as well as function group. So we have alkyl group like methyl, ethyl, propyl. So we have alkyl group as well as function group is isocyanide, NC. Okay, so common name will be represented as alkyl isocyanide. Take the first member CH3NC. So we have a methyl group and a function group isocyanide. So common name will be written as methyl isocyanide. Next one, an ethyl group as well as isocyanide. So this is called ethyl isocyanide. Third compound, propyl group, 3 carbon atoms. So this is propyl isocyanide. Next, aromatic isocyanide, we have a phenyl group. So this is phenyl isocyanide. So common name will be represented as alkyl isocyanide. Next, UPOC name. So in UPOC name, the function group is written as carbylamine. Okay. So isocyanide is called as carbylamine. So the UPOC name is written as alkyl carbylamine. Okay. So we have to mention what alkyl group is present. Based on that, the name will be written as alkyl carbylamine. Take the first member CH3NC. So we have a methyl group. So methyl carbylamine. Next one, ethyl group. So ethyl carbylamine. Third one, propyl group. So this is propyl carbylamine. Next, phenyl group. So phenyl carbylamine. So we may follow common name as well as UPOC name for alkyl isocyanates. Next, preparation of carbylamines. So already we studied carbylamine reaction in the properties of amines, right? So this is one of the properties of amines, and this carbylamine reaction is used to identify the presence of primary amine. One more question we told already. So using the carbylamine reaction, we are going to prepare this alkyl isocyanide or alkyl carbylamines. So take primary amine. You can take aliphatic as well as aromatic, methylamine as well as aniline. So in carbylamine reaction, we add amine with chloroform and potassium hydroxide. So there will be a formation of isocyanide. So methylamine produces methyl isocyanide or methyl carbylamine along with the liberation of potassium chloride and water. Aniline is treated with chloroform and potassium hydroxide. We get phenyl isocyanide or phenyl carbylamine with the liberation of potassium chloride and water. So this is first preparation method. Second preparation method, we prepare isocyanide from alkyl halide. So we can take an aliphatic halide, ethyl bromide. When ethyl bromide is treated with ethanolic solution of silver cyanide. So silver cyanide salt will be added with ethanol. Now there is a liberation of silver bromide. Okay. The silver as well as bromine will leave us silver bromide. So remaining we have ethyl isocyanide or ethyl carbylamine. This is second method of preparing alkyl isocyanide. Then third method, we take a derivative of amide. Okay. So first we have to know what is amide. Amide is a derivative of carboxylic acid. From this amide, one hydrogen is replaced by an alkyl group. So we have obtained N alkyl amide. So take this amide. This is what type of amide? Formamide. Okay. HCONH2. It's called a formamide. This amide is derived from formic acid. So from the acid, by adding ammonia, by ammonolysis process, we have obtained formamide HCONH2. Now one hydrogen is replaced by a substituent or alkyl group methyl. Okay, so this is called N-methyl formamide because methyl group is attached with the nitrogen. So this is N-methyl formamide. When N-methyl formamide is treated with phosphonyl chloride, POCl3, phosphonyl chloride, in the presence of pyridine, we get methyl isocyanide or methyl carboylamine. So during this process, there is a liberation of water molecule. Okay. So from this formamide part, a water molecule is leaving, so that we are getting carboylamine. So with this preparation of carboylamine is over, next physical properties. So as we told already, cyanides are poisonous in nature. In the same way, isocyanates are also poisonous in nature. Okay, and we know the mechanism. So when we take cyanide, we know the mechanism why the situation leads to death, because it occupies the position of oxygen in the hemoglobin, so it leads to death. So cyanides as well as isocyanates are highly poisonous in nature. Comparing cyanide, this isocyanate, this carboylamine is poisonous in nature, and the physical state is mostly the lower members are liquids, so they are colorless, unpleasant smelling liquid. And comparing the cyanides, this is poisonous in nature. Regarding the solubility, this is slightly soluble in nature, soluble in water, okay, and completely soluble in organic solvents. Due to polarity, it is slightly soluble in water, but comparing the cyanides, polarity is lesser here. In cyanides, we have more polarity, so dipole moment value will be more. Comparing the cyanides, alkyl isocyanates are having less polarity, so slightly soluble in water, but completely soluble in organic solvents. And comparing the cyanides, this will have less melting and boiling point because of less polarity. Okay. So these are all the physical. Unpleasant smelling colorless liquids, highly poisonous than the cyanides, less soluble in water and completely soluble in organic solvents. Due to less polarity than the cyanides, they are having less melting point and boiling point than the cyanides. Physical properties over. Next, we move into the chemical properties. So first one, hydrolysis process. Hydrolysis by alkali is not possible. So when you add sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide, hydrolysis process will not take place, so that we may take dilute mineral acids. With isocyanates, when we take dilute mineral acids, hydrolysis will take place. We get amine and carboxylic acid. So when you take methyl isocyanate, you will get methylamine with the formation of formic acid. Next one, reduction process. So alkyl isocyanates can be reduced using the catalyst like nickel. So hydrogen can be passed in the presence of nickel or platinum, any one catalyst. Or you may use hydrides, lithium aluminum hydride can be used, or sodium in the presence of ethanol. So any one reducing agent can be used. So this isocyanide will be reduced into secondary amine, not primary amine. Okay. Cyanide means primary amine will be formed. The reduction of isocyanide will give you secondary amine, so that we take isocyanide, methyl isocyanide, this will be reduced into a secondary amine, dimethylamine. Next, isomerization process. As I told already, cyanides and isocyanates are what? Tautomers. So there is an isomerism called a tautomerism. So due to rearrangements in the structure, we will have two types of structure. They are called the tautomers, and the phenomenon is known as tautomerism. So due to isomerization process, cyanide will become isocyanate as well as isocyanate will become cyanide. So we heat isocyanide at 250 degrees Celsius. So when we heat isocyanides, this will become cyanide. Okay, so due to the rearrangement, that means the bonding atom will be different. In isocyanide, nitrogen is bonded with the methyl group, and in cyanide, carbon is bonded with methyl group. So due to the rearrangement, the process is called isomerization. We get another tautomer. Next one, addition reactions. So whenever we have double bond or a triple bond, there will be addition reactions. So bond will be broken. So it may be electrophilic as well as nucleophilic addition reactions. So non-metals can be added. So due to the addition of non-metals, addition reactions are possible. We get addition products. So first one, with isocyanide, we may add halogens. So we will get addition product. Okay, like gem dihalide. Next one, addition of sulfur and oxygen. So with isocyanide, you can add sulfur. When sulfur is added, the bond will be broken. So you will get RNCS. So this is called alkyl isothiocyanate. Okay. NCS is called what? The functional group NCS is called isothiocyanate. So RNCS represents alkyl isothiocyanate. Now just to change this as oxygen, not sulfur. When oxygen is added with alkyl isocyanate, we get isocyanate is formed. NCO is called what? Isocyanate. So due to the addition reaction, in the presence of mercuric oxide or ozone, isocyanide will give you isocyanate. Okay. Alkyl isocyanate will be formed along with the liberation of mercurous oxide. So with this preparation and the properties of alkyl isocyanates, that means carbyl amines over. Next, uses of organic nitrogen compounds, you study yourself. Then in this organic nitrogen compounds lesson, we have what are the functional groups? Nitro compounds, amines, diazonium salts, cyanides and isocyanates. So all these chapters we have completed. Okay? All these functional groups, the preparation properties we have completed. Next, in this lesson, you just concentrate much on UPAC nomenclature as well as naming reaction and creative questions in book back. In book back, many creative questions are there. So study the whole lesson thoroughly. Then after that, revise the UPAC nomenclatures well. Then naming reactions as well as mechanism. So in Organica, you have to concentrate these three separately: UPAC nomenclature, mechanism, naming reactions. So this is applicable not only for 13th lesson, lesson number 11 as well as 12. So all these three lessons are very important. Mostly the tough questions will be from these three lessons: 11, 12 as well as 13. So creative equations may be there, right? So in your book, general equation will be given, but in examination, a selective creative equations may be given. So concentrate on UPAC nomenclature, that will be in 1 mark question. Then mechanism will be in the 3 mark or 5 mark. The naming reactions are important. So if you thorough means, we may go for creative equations, mostly which is given in book back, right? So concentrate all these three lessons well. For this 20%, we have 12th lesson as well as 13th lesson. 14th lesson is full of theory. Some equations are there, but mostly theory. You can study well. Concentrate much on lesson number 12 as well as 13. After completing the whole lesson, you just revise one more time: UPAC nomenclature, common name, then mechanisms as well as what? Naming reactions. Okay, so with this, today's class over. Monday onwards, we start another lesson, biomolecules, right? In biomolecules, many important questions are there, theory questions are there. So we start the lesson Monday. Prepare well for weekly test for coming Tuesday. Prepare well for weekly test. Okay, thank you.